Now, April came to be treated for the fibropapillomavirus, but we could not save his eyes, so April is blind. Now, fishermen, as you take a look in the pool, we got some pretty good visibility. And if you take a look down there, there's lots of fish down there. And as a fisherman, I can tell you exactly what's down there because I've already scoped it out over a year. We got a 3.5-foot snick down there. We got 2 dozen legal-sized mangroves as well as a 22-inch yellowtail. We've also got some barracuda and some parrotfish in there. I've offered to the medical staff to relieve them of all these fish, but they won't let me near the tank. Now, here's Montel, and Montel is another one of our permanent residents here. And Montel was named Montel because he had suffered every tragedy that a turtle could suffer. First of all, he got caught up in an entanglement, and in that entanglement, a boat struck him, and it took his entire left hand flipper. And then that's when we were called to rescue him. By the time we could get to a note, and the shark attack took half of his right flipper. And so when we got him into the hospital, we immediately started doing our examination. We realized we had the fibropapillomavirus, and that we could only save one of his eyes, so he lost one of his eyes as well. So, for that reason, because he had suffered every tragedy that a turtle could suffer. Look at that. I'm sorry, I'm a fisherman, I'm always about the fish, I know it's about the turtle. But anyway, because of that injury, we did name him Montel because he had suffered every tragedy that a turtle could suffer. Anybody remember Biggie Smalls, the rapper? Biggie Smalls. And right over here, right below me, this big girl, that's Handsome Buoy. Handsome Buoy's our biggest turtle in the tank. She is 350 pounds and still growing. A turtle will still grow for the entire time that they're alive. Their growth rate might slow down quite a bit, but they are still growing even for every moment that they're alive. Now, Handsome Buoy has her own story as well. This Handsome Buoy was with us 11 years ago. She was treated for the fibropapillomavirus. We made her tumor-free and released her back to the ocean. About 9 years later, she was struck by a boat, and now she's a non-releasable turtle. But she was still tumor-free after being in the ocean for 9 years and she came back, so our treatment does work. But the funny thing about Handsome Buoy was we didn't recognize her when she came back. We had to check her flipper tag. When we released her all those years ago, she weighed 32 pounds. When she came back to us 9 years later, she weighed 245. And she's been back with us for 2 years. She now weighs another 100 pounds. So, I guess she has succumbed to the fact that if I'm going to be a non-releasable turtle, I can't be the biggest. Now this is Sequoia. She's our second biggest turtle. Now we do have the smallest turtle in here. Her name is Karen. And I haven't seen her for a minute. Nope, she's a little smaller than that one. But Karen is not only the smallest turtle in here, she's the fastest turtle. And why is she the fastest turtle? Because we have turtle bullies in this pool. Every time you put a small turtle in here, they chase her and chase her and chase her until she becomes the fastest turtle. And now she is. There's Medea. She's our loggerhead turtle. She swims very well. She's been with us about 3 years. And she is also a boat strike victim. She took over Rebel's spot in the big tank. Rebel had to go to the timeout tank, and she came and took Rebel's spot down here. Alright, so as if you guys want to filter all the way around to this side, we're going to make a nice U shape on the back end of this tank. And I'm going to give everybody a scoopful of turtle chow. Now, this is made by Purina. Purina does make everything. Purina makes chow for everything, including turtles. So I'm going to put a little scoop in your hand. You can go ahead and feed the turtles with that. You can throw it in all at once, or just a little bit at a time to a specific turtle. The only thing I ask is to try and throw it away from the edge of the pool. And the only reason being is that our turtles don't actually smile. They're going to bang their head up against that pool trying to get to the food that they cannot reach. And the only thing they're going to do is give themselves a headache. So we'll make it a little easier for them and have to throw it out in the middle of the pool. Now, along with the fish, we've also seen lobster and octopus and everything else in this pool. But they all go, sorry, the iguanas are going to love us later. The fish and the lobster and the crabs and stuff that end up in this pool, they have no predators in here because the turtles aren't chasing them. The turtles don't need to chase them for food. The turtles are fed twice a day by our medical staff, and then every 30 minutes we have a group that comes in and gives them a snack. Now, some people have been concerned that we may be overfeeding our turtles, but in fact, turtles are like cows. They're grazers. You put a cow in the middle of a pasture, that cow's going to eat grass all day long. You put a sea turtle in the middle of a seagrass bed, He's going to eat seagrass all day long. Now again, if you take a look when you're looking at the turtles and they're eating, you'll see that they're kind of chomping on their food, and then there's a lot of excess water coming through their nose. Now this is the way they eat in the ocean. They do not take in as much salt water as you would think. They expel a lot of that through their nose when they're eating, and then if they do take any water, salt water into their system, it's usually filtered out through their tear ducts. There's a whole new meaning to salty tears. They get most of their freshwater hydration from the algae and the seagrass that they're eating, which is why making sure that these seagrass beds are protected and cleaned up is so important, because that's where the turtles are getting their natural hydration is from the algae and the seagrass, and so is the manatees. So every time one of our seagrass beds is destroyed or contaminated by that red tide or by pollution, it does affect our turtles and our manatees greatly. Now the turtles, like I said, they have an excellent sense of smell and hearing, and so the minute that turtle pellets hit the water, they know it's there, which is why April, who's completely blind, can still find the food easily, because the moment it hits the water, you can see their head turn. Watch. Yep, head turns right towards it. Oh, sorry, there you are. Hanson buoy. Hanson buoy is usually at the head of the line right over there. There she is. Now as you look down, you can see the snappers. There's also some carrots sticking in there. Where's my yellowtail? Again, I have offered to come and clear this pool out of all these fish, because pretty soon, if you leave them in here, the fish are going to get bigger than the turtles. Then we might have something to worry about. Now, if you look down, you'll see those the drains that they're coming in from. So they could get out if they wanted to, but again, they have no predators here. Why would they want to get out? The turtles aren't chasing for food, and they can get big.